We are moving along in the book of Exodus, Shemot. I hope you've been learning and ready to move forward because the children of Israel are about to find out their calling, their mission. Although last week Yehovah questioned how long these people would not follow his commandments, he still demonstrated his glory, his provision, his grace, and his power so they might believe on him. Welcome to Reconcile with the Kingdom, where we're working towards becoming a harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is PATRICE Robinson, and as always, I appreciate you coming by on today. Now hit that subscribe button, comment, and share this video as a way of you showing your support. We're going to go over the significant events of chapters 19 and 21 of Exodus. Chapter 19. I truly enjoy this chapter because they have received their calling after he has tested them. Although there was disobedient, complaining, grumbling, and contributing his grace to evil on how their children and livestock is going to die out in the wilderness. In other words, Yehovah saved them from Egypt to bring them in the wilderness to die. So that's how they was contributing his grace to evil. He still loved his firstborn. So he offered them a covenant. The third month from leaving Egypt, they arrived in Mount Sinai. And this was where he offered his covenant to them. Moses visited the Father in the mount, and Yehovah gave him this message to the children of Israel. Now this is important. This is important to what the condition was for the covenant. I'm going to read this. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you should be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. And you should be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. So what did the people say before hearing what the commandments were? And all the people answered together and said, all that Yehovah has spoken, we will do. Moses was given instructions on how to sanctify the people and to get them ready in 3 days. They were getting prepared for the covenant and the marriage ceremony. Chapter 20. Yehovah's meeting with his people, giving them their part of the agreement, their part of the covenant that they agreed to. Yehovah comes to meet his people so they will be able to hear his voice, be able to commune with him. Yehovah's meeting with his people so they can get to know him and his standards. He's meeting with his people so he can begin to build his kingdom. He met with the bride on the mountain and the ceremony begins. Hold on. Something went wrong. The people rejected him and did not want to hear his voice because they had their eyes on the things that was going on around the mountain, the thunder and the lightning and the shaking. And it kept them focused on the things instead of him. So let's read what they said. And they said to Moses, speak thou with us. We will hear you, but let not Yehovah speak with us, lest we will die. Now, we read plenty of times when Moses went in the mountain and spoke to Yehovah. But somehow these people, the children of Israel, thought that they were going to die hearing from him when Moses then spoke to him plenty of times without dying. I have no idea where they got that from. Now they were hearing without hearing. And so now they put a mediator between him and them, between them and Yehovah. Yehovah continues with his instructions from the 10 commandments that it was shouted down to the people. He continued with giving the instructions to Moses, who now becomes a mediator. Chapter 21. Yehovah continued this covenant agreement in this chapter about how to treat slaves, males and females, kidnapping, property rights, personal injuries, and the death penalty. So he continued on. So what is today's focus is on? The commandments. For this focus we're going to allow Yeshua, Jesus, the only rabbi, to help us understand the commandments. For this, we will turn to Matthew chapter 22, verses 34 through 40. Some background about this. This is after the parable of the wedding banquet, after the Pharisees and Sadducees try to trap him into asking questions about marriages and taxes, which they failed. Then one of them that was an expert in the instructions of the law and the teachings of Yehovah that was given to Moses made another attempt. So let's read that. Again, Matthew chapter 22, verses 34 through 40. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? The instructions. Jesus, Yeshua, said unto him, Thou shalt love the Elohim, Yehovah, with all your heart, with all their soul, with all their mind. This is the first and the great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and prophets. Let's repeat verse 40. On these two commandments hang all the law and prophets. So what does that mean? The people of his day, of that time, understood what he was saying, what he was speaking to them about. He wasn't making new laws, but he was acknowledging all the laws in its perspective in their place. People are not reading the entire verse. And as a Christian, that is a bad habit that we have developed. Even when we go home and try to read the scriptures that the pastors, the teachers has given us to study, we just study those exact scriptures. We don't go beyond that to make sure that the message lines up with the biblical truth. This is how I misunderstood Peter's vision. So I'm going to bring a chart up to you today. I have a chart to help us understand what Yeshua, Jesus, was saying. The Pharisees understood exactly what he was saying. So let's take a look at this chart. As you see on the chart, I have 2 commandments, and below I have the 10 commandments so far in their prospective place. Here we have hanging from the love of Yehovah with all your heart and soul. We have hanging below that, you shall not make any other God before me. You should not make any idols. You should not use Jehovah's name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Those hang from love Yehovah with all your heart and soul in its prospective place. The next one, hanging from love your neighbor as thyself, we have honor your parents. You should not murder. You should not commit adultery. You should not steal. All of those are hanging from its prospective place. This is why on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. It's not that he gave you new laws, took away the Old Testament Tanakh instructions from the law that was given from Yehovah to Moses. What Yeshua and Jesus was showing us as a better understanding of the instructions. So let's not forget that it's a better understanding of those instructions. The next Torah Chat Points will be from Exodus chapter 22 through 24. As always, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yehovah. Join me on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. as we are continuing going through Hanukkah versus Christmas. And I will see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Have a blessed rest of the week. Thank you.